capture system alone should make you want to play this. Look how good this looks. Heads up everybody, my name is SentinelGray and welcome to the channel. If you're here, you're wondering if Warframe is worth playing because it's literally the title of the video. I mean, I don't know what else you expected here. I did this a little bit ago for Destiny 2, and if you know the Destiny community, you know that a few people came into the comments, said that it's a shit game right after, playing for 4 hours on said shit game, and there's a whole entire thing. The Warframe community, however, is definitely not the same thing. If you want the quick and easy answer to should you play Warframe, then I'm just going to tell you yes. It's free to play, the game is fun, and you don't have to spend a lot of money, or any actually, if you don't want to. Not only that, but if you have fun playing a game, no matter what game it is, why wouldn't you want to play it? Now, if you're still here, that means you want more info. What is Warframe? What can you do in the game? That sort of stuff. I've only been playing Warframe for about a month now, and I feel I've barely broken the surface on some of the things that you can do in the game. I mean, yes, sure, I've done a ton in the game, but I haven't delved too deeply. It's like going to a water park and dipping your toe into all the pools instead of jumping right in, Warframe at its base is a free-to-play science fiction cooperative third-person shooter. Pulled that one straight from the wiki. In the game, you use different types of Warframes, hence the namesake, which act as different characters or classes. Think of something like Overwatch, where every character has a different set of abilities. Warframes are the same way. You could deal tons of damage, heal yourself and your allies, call forth undead thralls to fight for you, that sort of thing. Luckily, with hundreds of different types of weapons that are available to you, you'll never be restricted on what you can use on a Warframe. That, and you'll never be restricted on what type of movement you have. The game's about being a space ninja. They're not going to suddenly take that away because you decide to play a tank type of Warframe. You'll still be able to move like everyone else. And while we're on the topic, yes, there are literally hundreds of different weapons in the game that you can use. You ever wanted to fight with a whip? Yeah, you could do that. What about an arm cannon like Mega Man? That too. There's tons of different weapons in the game for you to choose from with no restrictions on usage except for your rank. But, I mean, it's a video game. That's to be expected. At the same time, the gameplay in Warframe is so unique and fun, there's no way the devs would want to limit that for players. So no matter what Warframe, weapon, or cosmetic piece you have on, you'll always be able to do the same space ninja shit. It's awesome. So with all these weapons and Warframes, how do you get them? Well, some you can just straight up buy, others can drop from enemies, but for the most part, you have to create them in your foundry by using blueprints. Once you have the required materials, you fire up your foundry, wait for it to manufacture your new gear, and it'll only take like 12 or 24 hours. Yeah, you heard. The way Warframe does their crafting system, you have to wait a certain amount of real-world time until your gear is finished. After that, you pick up your gear from the foundry, and you know what? You can use it. Now, I know some people, me and definitely included, can get turned off to a game where you have to wait real-world hours for something to complete. That's one of the reasons why I can't stand most mobile games. But even though that's the case, the wait time isn't as bad as you think. Yes, in the early game it can be a pain because you have to wait for that shiny, new, or pulsating piece of gear, but look at it this way. You log on when you wake up for the day, and before you have breakfast, you go start that new hand cannon blueprint you got last night. Well, by the time you eat breakfast, go to work, and then come back home, that hand cannon could be sitting there waiting for you to use that night. You see why they do that? Plus, once you get to the later ranks and have blueprints for tons and tons of gear, the time you have to wait doesn't even become a thought in your mind. As a personal note from me, please, don't let this sway you from trying out the game too much. Like I said, I'm not a fan of this type of system, but honestly, after playing for a bit, it doesn't impact your play as much as you think it would. Now, beyond fighting and slaying baddies, what else is there to do in Warframe? Well, there's a lot. Just like a traditional MMO, you can do things like mining. Nice. Fishing. Gotcha! Ha! Weapon crafting. I have no idea what I'm looking at here.
Choose wisely.
Hatching pets? Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? And big-ass space battles that remind you of Star Wars. This is entirely too much fun. Okay, that last one isn't really something that all MMOs have, but you get the point. Warframe has tons of side activities and farming methods to keep you entertained and occupied for literally hours or days. Not only that, but if you are one of those people who love to buy and trade items, Warframe has a full player-driven economy. You can buy blueprints and reputation materials or sell all that stuff. There's even a third-party site that's been created by the community members to help trading and make it a lot easier instead of like spamming in all chat or whatever. It's actually really, really nice, really intuitive, and oh, it's so good. If you start playing, I suggest you take your time and watch a few beginner guides or grab a few friends who are veterans to help you out, since the new player experience is not very kind and can probably be the hardest part of the game. You may be asking, why would starting be the hardest part? Well, that's because Warframe has barely any tutorials and hardly shows you what to do to improve your items or anything like that, and that's all done by design. Not only would creating a full tutorial that fleshes out literally all of the content of the game be an enormous undertaking, but it's also because the devs are a huge supporter of content creation in their community. As an example, I was in a dev stream one day and there was a new player that came in who asked for help or tutorials or something like that. The community manager who was playing at the time, without missing a beat, was like, hey, there are some awesome content creators out on Twitch, out on YouTube, just out there in general who have guides for you. Go to them. They constantly advocate content creators and it's awesome. And content creators are the only people they're good to. Artists in the Warframe community have designed art for Warframes, weapons, and decorations for your ship that have been later turned into real in-game skins that you can buy. These skins don't sell for in-game currency, however. You have to buy these with real money. But the reason being is because the community artists that create the designs get a cut of the profits. And as somebody who has a lot of artist friends, I know how difficult it can be for them. So the times where I've seen a skin that I want that a community member has created, there's very little hesitation for me picking it up. Overall, Warframe has an absolute ton of stuff to do. So much so that it might be a little bit overwhelming if you try and rush into all of it. I personally think you should give it a try. Warframe has become a new love of mine that has quickly turned into a game that I can leisurely hop in and out of and can play for like 2 hours or 12 hours depending on what I'm doing. Plus, the game's free. It's not going to cost you anything. If you try it and you don't like it, you don't have to play it. So it's not like you spent a full $60 on a brand new game. If you have any further questions or you want to talk Warframe, feel free to post down in the comments below, and remember to hit that like button if this video helped you out, and subscribe if you want to see more. If you like live content, I am live every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Twitch. I have a link for that in the description down below. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you all next time, and remember, keep your heads up and be kind to each other. Bye now.